So it's really helpful when you are setting up your paper the first time that you align the edge of the paper with a line on the floor the entire way and tape it down. That's going to help a lot when you are visualizing parallel and perpendicular lines later. You can use the floor lines, assuming you can see them through the paper. So you paint the bottom of your feet as much as possible, glob it on, and then don't touch the floor for a little bit, which is hard and good ab work, right?
I wouldn't know, I don't have abs.
So I just plant them?
Just plant them. And up. Okay, now stand up nice and tall. Arms at your side, and you're just going to walk right down. Just walk as normal as you can. Just keep walking to class. And walk right off. These guys didn't slow down, that was good.
Okay, so we're going to start drawing some dots and lines, and that will help us to calculate the parameters that we need to find. When you look at your first 2 feet standing together, that's just your standing, and your first step or 2 will probably be a little bit abnormal because you were slipping, you were unbalanced, you were unsure. So usually we'll throw out, we won't do anything with at least your first foot. If you feel like or it looks like you started walking normally after that, you can start all these lines and dots on the second or third foot. So yeah, why don't you go to that? There you go. I think that's right, Alyssa, where you're at. So what we'll do is we're going to draw a dot at the midpoint of each heel first. So the back of the heel, midpoint, exactly. Good, that looks good. So then do that for every foot step except, and actually you guys can do all of them because you walk
Kenzie, if you want to put your dot up just a little bit more, so it's on.
right on the actual heel.
Yeah. And if it's a little smudgy, then figure out where.
Okay, now what we're going to do is go to the second toe and draw a dot at the end midpoint of the end of that toe.
So up here?
Correct. And notice sometimes people will drag that toe a little bit, so there'll be a little extra paint. Just try to find that midpoint at the end of it. And do that for all your feet. Okay, so now we're going to connect the heel dot to the toe dot with the straight line using the yardstick for each foot. This will be part of the way that we measure toe out, or in some cases, toe in.
I'm pigeon. I'm definitely pigeon toe. Yeah, mine's not straight.
So when you, just thinking ahead here, when we get to doing our toe out angles, some of you will have a negative number because you are actually toeing in for a particular foot. But just connecting the heel dots and the toe dots is next. Okay, next what we're going to do is you're going to take that yardstick and draw a line that is perpendicular to the edge of the paper across the paper at your heel dots. So you really want to make sure it's perpendicular to the edge of the paper. It's straight across the page. It'll be parallel to lines on the floor as well that run across. And repeat that at all of your heel dots.
My yardstick's warped.
Yes, there is one warped yardstick. Use the good parts of it. And this line will help us in determining step length, stride length, and step width. So it's a very helpful line. Okay, and for our last line, I'm going to go back to your heel dot and draw a line from your heel dot to the horizontal line across the page. Basically connect that heel dot down to that line. This line should be parallel to the side of the paper or perpendicular to the lines you just drew. And this line is going to help you measure step length. It's going to be part of measuring toe out. And it's going to help then with stride length, and it's going to be useful for figuring step width. Good, and just keep it a parallel line to the edge of the paper and you should be fine. And as an alternative way, you can draw a line straight forward from the heel dot to the next horizontal line, as Alyssa's doing, and that works just fine and works just as well as drawing a line back from the heel dot to the previous horizontal line. So either this way or that way.
So did you completely just get my color?
All right, so then you can go ahead and let's have you measure your toe out angles on each side and write down left toe out X degrees. So no, you'll write it right on the paper that you've got the angle on. So based on how Alyssa drew her lines, she'll measure her toe out.
Is that where you take it before?
Yeah, you just take mine very.
And
Okay.
yeah,
How about I
so
go along and take?
all right, so we are measuring toe out angles with the goniometer, or in some cases our toe in angles, and then documenting those right on the walking paper, so that if I look at your angle, I see a number next to it and can see if it looks correct. Okay, so Callie, rate your angles right on this paper, so that each angle has a number by it.
0, 13, 1.
So the next thing we're going to measure is step width, and that's going to be the line between your heel dot and the vertical line that you drew near it. That distance is step width. A good idea is to put that in inches because our norms are in inches, which are 2 to 4 inches. So write down on your paper what each step width is, and if you have some that are really out of whack with the others, you can just not include those. You're going to average all the step widths together. There's not going to be a difference here.
So just the line from the heel dot to the midline?
Exactly. Yes. Heel dot to right. Yep.
So
Hold that.
that's your heel
Yep.
step width?
That is just your step width, or your width of your walking base.
Okay.
Yep. And we're doing that just as one thing, not right or left.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go ahead and measure step length. That's going to be the individual lines between the horizontal lines, and you're going to write down whether it's left or right step length and the distance. And it seems like if you've done your step width in inches, you probably are best off to do your step length in inches as well. Keep those units the same. Good. So Callie is measuring right step length.
can stick it on the thing someplace else.
This has to be one of the weirder things. Oh! So from this line to this line, correct?
Yeah, it's the line you've already made though.
Oh, okay.
You're just measuring the distance of the one you already made. You too, Kenzie, you already have the line drawn. And you want to measure, you don't need to do, oh, you do need to do another, no, you don't want to draw a line there. You want to measure that line, the distance of it. You've already done that. Lines drawn, just measuring. So you are measuring there, Kenzie, your left step length.
It's already down there. I'm running out. Oh, I know, that's why I can't.